Hello and welcome to another Fantasy Premier League video. My name is Mo and this is your channel FPL Inklink. I'll be providing you with the best content and all the information that you need with the latest news for the FPL season 2021-2022. So this video, as promised guys, it's all about rating your drafts that you submitted to me. So just a bit of background around it. I put a tweet out a couple of days ago asking you to kindly submit your drafts and let me do a video and kind of rate your drafts in alongside it as well. So thank you to everyone who did submit it. Thank you all for your kind words and thank you for taking your precious time to put those in for me to review in this video. Before we begin, if you like the content, all you got to do is hit the like button, and in addition, if you want to subscribe to my channel and you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button to help me get to that 1k subscribers mark before the start of this season, which is only a couple of weeks away. So let's get started guys and let's start rating your draft. So at number 1, we've got FPL Ranger, also in brackets Rafa. So Ranger FPL. Also feel free to follow these guys. I've used their Twitter hashtags in there as well, along with the teams that they have submitted itself. What can I say? So this first draft itself, I really like it. I think it's a real strong draft created. My personal favourite formation that I like to play in FPL is 4-4-2, but I also appreciate 3-4-3, and I also like the 3-5-2 because it gives you plenty of attacking options. For example, with my kind of like 4-4-2, I'll have 6 attacking options, and then if I want to go for a premium defender, which is kind of like the way I like to go in terms of Trent, people can also go that way. But however, if you go for the 3-4-3 or the 3-5-2, you kind of have 7 attacking options with 5 midfielders and 2 attackers itself. So let's get stuck into this draft. So overall, let's start with the defence. So Sanchez in goal, great decision, still as a backup from Brighton. So if anything does happen to Sanchez and he doesn't play a game, at least he knows that Steele will pop in and get the points needed. So he won't kind of go blank for that game week. So I kind of like the way he's thought that and he's brought that in. In addition to the back line, we've got 3 defenders, so we've gone for a premium of Alexander-Arnold, Holgate and Fofana. I think they're all really good choices. I mean, Holgate is the first one I've seen in a draft myself. I haven't personally looked at Holgate. But again, if you look at the fixtures of Everton, it's a real good shout, and it's also a differential. Not many managers at the moment in drafts that I've seen, or general picking wise, have selected him. So I think it's a good shout, and it's a great start from the back that not only have you got premiums in there, but you also got like a differential aspect which has great fixtures in at least the first 8 game weeks to get you some kind of like returns in terms of defense, and he has had some real good kind of like patches in seasons previously. So again, a big thumbs up for having Holgate in your squad. And Fofana 4.5, I think it's an absolute bargain, one of the bargains of the season. So a nice little solid back 3 to start the draft. In midfield, a couple of surprises, a couple of good ones for me to be fair. Fernandes as captain. I mean, Norwich is the fixture for Salah. Most captains may go towards Salah themselves, but in terms of differential, in terms of leads, people need to remember last season, United put 6 past them at the home game, and Fernandes is on penalties, 32 returns last season, so that's a real good differential that I've just seen right there. So again, a good brave choice, and I think with this differential aspect of captaincy as well, because almost 50% of managers at the present moment are owning Salah, and if you can get Fernandes, who's also on about 40%, but what is going to be key is how many of those 40% managers, including myself, are actually going to captain Fernandes. Personally, myself, I'm not. So again, not many managers may captain Fernandes, so that's a real good differential pick there in terms of captaincy. Salah, great choice. Smith Rowe, I mean, it's a real good pick at the moment. I'm a bit kind of like double-minded myself. 5.5 mil, playing for Arsenal in that number 10 position. He's got the number 10 shirt. Why not? So, in terms of Smith Rowe, good shout. They got Brentford away first game, so we'll be able to see what Arteta is actually thinking. Pre-season, we'll be able to see, you know, mostly what their kind of setup is going to be, or are they going to allow youngsters just to fill in their opportunity and see who can start the season? But I think Smith Rowe is going to be a good shout because he did have a real good start and an end to the season last season. So in terms of myself, I haven't got him at the moment, but I will look at the first couple of games because you do have the international break, I think after 3rd game week. So game week 4, you will have that time. So I think that might be like a good review for me, or maybe a potential wild card. But Smith Rowe is a nice differential there as well. Havertz as a vice captain against Crystal Palace, a nice game to start off with. Obviously Vieira has taken over in terms of Crystal Palace, so we'll be having to see how defensively sound they are as they were under Roy Hodgson. So Havertz kind of showed glimpses of like his form from the Bundesliga at the end of the last season. So again, a good pick. And it's a bit of a differential aspect in terms of midfield. I really like that midfield because you've got two big hitters and you've got two other really good players who hit good form at the end of last season. We just got to see how they settle in and take advantage of the good fixtures that they do have. In terms of the front three line, again, I think it's a nice little spread of budget. Tony up front against Arsenal on penalties, highest goal scorer and combination of assists as well in the Championship last season. Watkins had a great season last season for Aston Villa, and they've also got Calvert-Lewin as well, who under Rafa I think will get kind of more opportunities to kind of go forward. Rafa will give him the strategies of the long ball or the cross in from the wing, where you've got someone like Adina who will cross it in for you, Sigurdsson if he gets available, and you've got players also who can whip a ball in like James Rodriguez. So again, he's an aerial threat, good finisher, had a good season last season, fresh from the Euros because he didn't really feature at all. So let's wait and see how he performs. So I think it's a real good, solid front three, and it's a good spread of funds. The bench as well, I think it's pretty cool because I think they've invested more in this squad on the pitch, and I'm really happy with that because I think the value and the squad depth should be on your pitch. In terms of minutes, I don't see much rotation from these players who are featuring. Maybe Havertz might get a little bit of rotation because of the wealth of kind of, or the richness of talent that Chelsea possess. But if he gets off to a good start, I don't really see much rotation from Tuchel himself. So overall, a big thumbs up, a really good draft there from FPL Ranger. And I think, if the fixtures go well, I think this draft, personally, when I reviewed it, I think it was really well selected based on early fixtures. So it will give a really good insight to how players perform, how they settle in. And then obviously with the transfers needed, if there's any kind of changes to be made, can be made quite easily. However, if they want to play an early wild card based on form, that can be played as well. So a big thumbs up to FPL Ranger. The second draft we're going to be reviewing is Aaron McDonald. So again, the formation chosen by Aaron is similar to mine, 4-4-2. And again, I really like this draft. So we'll go through it again. Sanchez selected as the goalkeeper, which is a really good choice. Budget goalkeeper, played pretty much every single game. And hopefully we'll get some really good save points with the clean sheets as well. And Burnley away, kind of a good game to go. First game of the season. In terms of a backup gun from at the moment in terms of the team, playing Liverpool, which is Norwich. So again, a nice sort of cheap goalkeeper, and not really investing much in terms of goalkeeper as a reserve, because some people like to go 2 4.5 keepers and rotate. I'd honestly say a big no-no. Have one goalkeeper which you'll keep for the rest of the season and kind of forget about the other one. So waste of funds, and you can use that £500,000 elsewhere, or even £1 million if you go a bit premium elsewhere on the pitch itself. Let's have a look at the back four. Again, I think that is a solid back four. I think when I was starting my drafts, this was pretty similar to what I was looking at originally. But let's have a look. So Robertson chosen. Again, a bit of a differential from Trent, whereas the ownership's at the moment around 13% compared to Trent, who's around 27.5%. So again, if you look at the numbers and background underlying stats, they both pretty much get similar points and returns as defenders for Liverpool. I think Trent gets more of a highlight because of his kind of like free kick potential, and he gets more exposure, and he likes to take a shot. And that's what kind of makes him more lethal in terms of FPL managers' eyes. But Robertson is not too far behind, pretty much is on level par, and is £500,000 cheaper as well. Fofana in there, a great choice, 4.5 mil. I think he's an absolute bargain as well. Centre back, Leicester, I think they'll probably play 3 at the back and 2 wing backs. We'll have to wait and see how Rodgers lines up, but nice little safe bet. Some really good fixtures to start off with. Wolves at home, first game, so I think it should be a good game for Leicester to kind of showcase their talent and get off to a good start. Luke Shaw, again, player of England for the tournament of the Euros, played really well over the last season. I think he was a player of the season for United, in my opinion, as a United fan. Really good offensively, likes to get in the box, takes a shot, sets up people, good cross in, and he takes corners as well, and some short free kicks in good positions on the left-hand side. So a really good pick. United has some really good fixtures starting up with, and I think, Shaw can get a few points. And again, if Shaw's not available, a simple kind of like, man-for-man replacement will be Van Bissaka if needed. Luca Digne selected. Again, Everton have some really great fixtures as discussed for the first 8 game weeks. And he's got some really good offensive numbers. If you look at the stats, in terms of chances created, he was pretty much near the top with Trent and Robertson at the end of the last season. Yes, he didn't deliver on the points as much, but that's due to kind of like missing an injury and the level of clean sheets that Everton kept last season. So again, he's a really good pick. He's on free kicks and set pieces, so watch out for Digne. It's someone who I've got an eye on, and I want to see how they set up originally against Southampton. If they do well, it might trigger me to bring him in for alternative players in my squad as well. Looking at the midfield, pretty much nailed on, similar to what I have, barring Sancho. Fernandes as vice-captain. Again, we discussed Fernandes' potential, his threat, he's a premium, a good selection. Harrison, now Harrison is one player that I'm backing this season, so I was really happy to see Harrison selected by Aaron in this draft. An amazing pick, left winger from Manchester City, scored over 160 points last season, around 18 goal returns with 10 goals and 8 assists, or vice versa, I believe. Really, really good. And again, with Leeds, he's $500,000 cheaper than Rafinha. But at the end of the day, the output in terms of points per game was very, very close. So again, if you want to save $500,000 on a budget, it's a really good choice. So I think that's a really good option done by Aaron there, where he saved 0.5 on each Harrison and Robertson and invested that elsewhere in his team. So a big, big thumbs up there for you, Aaron. Salah as captain, great choice, pretty much going to be nailed on for most FPL managers for first game week. So a nice safe bet there. Salah, he's going to deliver. He's a bit selfish. That's the only thing that FPL managers kind of sometimes, pull their hair out with, why he didn't pass it or why he didn't cross it, why he took the selfish option. If he could increase his assist, trust me, he can near enough hit 300 points again, like he hit a couple of seasons ago. So we're going to be watching out for how Salah performs, and he's been rested during the summer as well. So he's going to be back, sharp and fit to play for Liverpool from game week 1. And fixtures, again, looking quite promising for Liverpool as they play 3 of the promoted sides from the Championship in the first 8 game weeks. Next person is Sancho, the new signing from Manchester United. Again, I'm a bit divided. Do I double up like Aaron has on Fernandes and Sancho, or do I not? So I've kind of gone for Son at the moment. But again, Sancho, he took penalties at Borussia Dortmund, really good assists, and he can score goals from open play as well. Kind of a direct kind of player who likes to run at people, defenders, kind of like shake them up. So a really good choice. And again, he's got ownership of around 10% already. So if not many other managers bring him in, could be a good differential. And then you could bag in the points before the others join the bandwagon, a bit like myself. Moving on to the front 2. Again, 2 great strikers from last season. Calvert-Lewin, who we've discussed, and Ollie Watkins. Both really good potential, really good finishers, play for really exciting teams. With Rafa now coming into Everton, let's just see how Calvert-Lewin performs. The only thing that concerns me about these 2 players is they're really good with scoring goals, but neither of them are on penalties. So if you look at someone like a Bamford, for example, to Calvert-Lewin, who's on penalties, yes, the fixtures aren't that great in the first 8 game weeks for Leeds. However, if Bamford starts to hit a bit of form, then obviously there can always be a change in itself. What I do like about the bench is he's got Lamptey as a first kind of defender substitute. So if anyone does get benched or doesn't play due to any reason in specific, like injury or any other reason, at least he's got them Lamptey to come on and take over the team in that position. So a really good big thumbs up, a really good draft from Aaron, and thank you so much once again for submitting that through to us. The next one is submitted by Elliot D. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. And again, I've added in the details for you to add on. Again, a really good draft, a really good formation 3-5-2 as I mentioned originally. And there's a few things I really want to mention in this one, which I really, really like. So again, Sanchez is in goal. Cresswell, after Trent and Robertson, was a high scoring defender last season. Some really good fixtures in the first 5 or 6 game weeks for West Ham. So a good pick. He's on corners, free kicks, set pieces, likes to get forward and doesn't mind a shot either. So a real good pick there, along with Digne and Alexander-Arnold. So 3 central defenders in terms of the centerpieces of FPL managers are all selected, and they're all wing backs. So they will be potentials for goals and assists from there, and they do all take set pieces. So a big thumbs up for your defense there. Moving on to midfield, Salah, Fernandes as the premiums. Grealish is in this draft, so it's a real good selection because Aston Villa, again, as I mentioned, have 3 great, amazing starting fixtures. And the first game is Watford, and they've got Newcastle, and I think Brentford as well. And then they've got Rafinha, who's obviously playing against Manchester United. Again, I think he's underpriced, 6.5 mil. He so easily could have been 7, 7.5, potentially even 8, depending, obviously, if you kind of measure him against kind of Greenwood or Grealish and Foden, who've had increases in prices. I wouldn't have been surprised at a higher price for him. And again, Smith Rowe selected as well. So again, a real nice spread of funds. They're all attacking players. And to be fair, when a team sheet is created, I reckon all 5 of them, for their respective clubs, will be starting most games of the season. The only thing I'd say, Grealish, today the announcement came that he potentially is on the move to Manchester City. So if he does move to City, and even big thumbs up, there will be higher ownership of Grealish as well. So I know they've got Spurs first and some difficult fixtures, but at the end of the day, it's Manchester City. They've won the league quite a few times over the last couple of seasons, and you know their players are going to perform. Again, the only kind of like risk with Grealish at Man City will be risk of rotation. But again, that's Guardiola for you. If you want to play the pep roulette, you got to take the risk sometimes. But Grealish at Man City, wow, I would definitely want to have a look at that. But even at Aston Villa, he's still a lethal threat. He's their main talisman. And there's a lot for us to look forward to as FPL managers and football fans to see how he performs after seeing an amazing season last season and how he played in the Euros itself. In terms of the bench, Foster in goal, pretty much the second goalkeeper most popular choice by most managers. Dennis in defence, Johnson and Fofana. So he's got Fofana in defence as well, who potentially could come on if he does get the game time for Leicester. So again, a big thumbs up to his draft, 7 attacking options. And he's gone 3-5-2, which is a real good kind of formation for me as well, because you've got a good spread of funds and attacking options to give you returns, and a real solid defence and a goalkeeper in there as well. So a real well done and a credit to your draft, Elliot. Now moving on to Zodiac. So Zodiac DK sent me 2 drafts, so we'll be reviewing 2 drafts of his. So we'll start off with the first one. Again, I really like the overall look of this draft. It's got some real big hitters and a real differential aspect in as well, which I'll go through with you. Now, Sanchez in goal, again, selected as a keeper. Alexander-Arnold, Shaw, Dina. We discussed these 3 players. Solid attacking wing-backs. Hopefully we'll get you some returns. Now, they've got Jota and Greenwood in here. Now, in terms of Jota and Greenwood, the only thing that kind of put me off Jota and Greenwood, I was quite interested in them when the game was released to get them into my squad, but the only factor that's kind of like restricted or kind of unreserved at the moment is game time. So obviously Jota will be in competition with someone like a Firmino. What kind of formation will Liverpool play? And Greenwood, yes, Rashford is injured for the first part of the season, but again, with the talent and the richness of talent, you know United are going to play 4 defenders at the back, 2 holding midfielders of Scott McTominay, Pogba or Fred, either of the 3. Then you've got Fernandes, Cavani, Greenwood, and Anthony Martial. So again, and Sancho included as well. So there's a lot of potential talent there. So there's a risk of rotation. Again, he might get the game time because Cavani might not play up front as much. But there's no Europe or any other competitions at the start of the season. So it's every 5, 6, 7 days rest, maybe 8 days sometimes if you're playing a Saturday and then you play the following Sunday or Monday. So there's quite a lot of rest. So in that respect, there may be a bit of rotation in terms of Greenwood and Jota. But otherwise, if they do get the game time with the fixtures that Liverpool and Manchester United have, they may be amazing choices and good differentials, because at the moment, I believe that they might be being overlooked. Obviously, like managers like myself who are a bit sceptical, but people who have chosen them, I do kind of value their brave, kind of choice and selection of these brave, players, because they're young talent and they have performed previously. So a big thumbs up there, Zodiac, in this draft. Grealish, we mentioned him earlier, good selection as well. Front 2 of the 3 are Calvert-Lewin and Watkins, we've discussed, but I really like the Cavani selection. Now, I'll tell you why. In terms of Cavani, out-and-out striker, the only one at Manchester United. Greenwood likes to play on the wing, not really that kind of central striker role. He's proved it last season, pretty much fresh, raring to go for the season, might get a good opportunity with some really good fixtures coming in the first 5 or 6 games for Manchester United. He's deadly. He's got some service now with Sancho being added to the squad, so you can show that in regards to Cavani himself, he can show it, and it might be a great differential aspect because he's only owned by around 10% of managers at the moment. Obviously, that can change with more managers and time getting close to the season. But I really like that selection, and it's a differential, and it's a strong statement to make to have Cavani in your squad. In terms of the bench, Fofana, good choice as the number 1 to come on if anyone is rested, and El Nouri and Gibbs White again just to cover the bench. It's a good selection. Now moving on to draft number 2 for Zodiac DK. So Martinez in goal, so a bit more of an expensive goalkeeper, 5.5 mil. nice, a bit differential. There are many managers who are going for Martinez, but I believe more emphasis have been placed on Sanchez because we're trying to find the next Martinez from last season. But a real good selection: Cresswell, Robertson, and Dunk. So Dunk is chosen in this draft. Now Ben Dunk for me is the best, defender at Brighton. Obviously followed by Ben White, who may be leaving to Arsenal, but Ben Dunk is pretty safe and he's pretty aerially threatening, from set pieces when corners or free kicks are taken. So a really good selection, a real differential. I really like this. Gerard Bowen, I think, from West Ham in midfield, playing Newcastle. Good selection. Played well last season, and I think this season he can take it to the next level. Phil Foden in there. Again, 8 million at price. I think it's a fair price. The only risk with Foden is he goes big when he gets played. I think he averaged around 7.5 points per game that he did feature in last season. But again, it's the only risk of rotation. Are City going to offload some players? Because obviously Grealish is coming in as well. If he does and Kane comes in, who's going to be kind of sacrificed? Bernardo Silva. You got Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Sterling, Mahrez. So there's a lot of talent there, and Jesus as well, unless he leaves. There's a lot of talent there, but in terms of Foden, he didn't play much in the Euros, but Guardiola likes him and he's developed him in a certain kind of method, and he's kind of gradually brought him into the first team. Again, will he get the consistent run? If he does, I know for a fact that when he does get minutes, he'll perform big. So a real good selection there in terms of Foden. But what kind of counteracts that is, which I really like, is on the bench he's got Harrison. So Harrison's another strong selection. So if he doesn't play, you've got Harrison to come on, and you've got Wan-Bissaka on the bench as well. So a really good strong bench there. Calvert-Lewin, Toney and Watkins are up front. So 3 safe forwards that are going to be playing as well. The only thing with this draft that I would say is potentially, if you want to kind of make a few tinkering or kind of spread the funds, you can maybe downgrade potentially Wan-Bissaka and kind of increase the funds on Ben Dunk and kind of you can see actually if you can actually move Wan-Bissaka in there and make it 4-4-2, you could potentially lower the kind of let's say from 6 mil on Harrison to make it around 4.5, an extra $1.5 million. You can actually upgrade Foden to Sancho. That could be an option, but again, it's a really, really solid draft. 7 attacking players on there, and you've got attackers on the bench to come on as well. So big thumbs up for both your drafts, Zodiac DK, and thank you for submitting that. So that was the drafts that were submitted to me. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted them and took their kind time and precious time to submit them into me. And those are the ratings that I've given you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. This is my team, by the way, that I've brought back onto screen. This is my current draft. Thank you so much. Best luck to all FPL managers. Thank you so much for providing me these drafts and allowing me to rate them for you. If you like this video, give it a nice little thumbs up, and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. Help me grow the FPL Inklink family and get me to the 1K subscribers before the start of the season. Enjoy the FPL Inklink League on the game itself, and let's have a great season. See you guys soon.